Hi guys, my book here, In Search of the Origin of Pyramids. One of the things I'm saying in my book is that the pyramids of Egypt of the 3rd millennium BC cannot really be understood from the perspective of Egyptian religion. And the reason for this is, although Egyptologists try and understand it from an Egyptian perspective, a lot of what we know about the Egyptian religion actually comes from later times. And it's hard to understand pyramids from the perspective of a system which is only found in Egypt, when pyramids, in fact, are found all over the world. And in fact, where you can't build pyramids out of bricks, or it's not really feasible, I think they just built huge mounds like what you find in Europe, in Asia. And what I've done in this book, I've used Eurasian mythology to actually explain some of what is going on at Giza. For example, we have a civilization in southwestern Europe known as Old Europe, and this civilization long precedes Egypt. And it's only like a 3 day sail away from Egypt, and apparently the outer limit was Crete. So what you're going to have is you're going to have had a lot of influence from Crete upon Egypt. And what I think is that the Egyptian pyramids, if you're looking at Khufu, Herodotus writes that Khufu had a different religion to the Egyptians, which is quite interesting. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to investigate the Giza pyramids from the perspective of this old Europe religion. And you can read about this in the books of Maria Gimbutas. And she wrote a great deal about this subject. She didn't mention Egypt. But what I think and what I'm saying in this book is that, because, I found things which were similar to the Giza Plateau as far as Ireland. I was traveling around Ireland last year, and I was thinking, gee, these cairns, they're all on top of mountains. Some of them, some like Newgrange, it's on top of a huge hill. And then you look at Giza. These pyramids are built on a large plateau. They're built as close as heaven to heaven as possible. So it's very much like the Babel religion as mentioned, as remembered in the Bible. And this religion, it was going extinct in the 3rd millennium BC in Old Europe. And this is when they built Giza. The Giza pyramids would not have been the original pyramids on site. In fact, there were probably earlier pyramids, earlier structures and temples going back many thousands of years. The Sphinx itself was probably a dog. The reason why the Sphinx was a dog is the dog is the favorite animal of the old European triple goddess. And Robert Temple, he wrote a book called The Sphinx Mystery in 2009, and he actually says it was probably a dog, but he doesn't even know he knows a lot, he knows a great deal, but he doesn't know that the dog is the sacred animal of the triple goddess, and this explains a lot. Why are there 3 pyramids? They're not for 3 different kings, they're for possibly for 3 different aspects of the triple goddess, and I cover a lot of that in this book, In Search of the Origin of Pyramids. And these aspects, these were past, present and future. There are also dimensions of the earth encoded into the Great Pyramid. In this book I mention a formula. There are lots of formulas. I think most of them, you can't really pay any credence to them. But the reason they encoded earth formulas into the Giza pyramids, I think, is because they wanted to center the pyramid and make it a representation of the earth. They wanted to make it, to place it at the center of the earth itself, or the center of the landmass, or create a central location where the gods could live and where they could bestow fertility onto the whole landscape. And this is one reason, I think, why the pyramids in the medieval times, when Europeans went to Egypt, I think they used to tell them that they were Joseph's granaries. Now, you can't store a lot of grain in there, but in Europe, large mounds such as Silbury Hill, etc., they were known as harvest hills, and they were built for fertility reasons. So I think the pyramids are a part of a fertility ritual. They have their own gods, which existed thousands of years before the Egyptian gods. These gods were worldwide, possibly in the 5th millennium BC. That's when I'm talking. And by the time of the Giza pyramids, they were like the last immortalization of this religion, which was essentially well on its way out in many parts of the world. and that's one reason why the Giza pyramids cannot be understood today. The conventional explanation is these were for vainglorious pharaohs. They were built to build the Egyptian economy, etc. It's a very ancient idea going back to Aristotle or even earlier. I don't really buy into that. I think these were not tombs of pharaohs. The royal tombs, in fact, I think are the mastabas, and they have a different type of funerary architecture. They're located near the pyramids. The pyramids themselves, I think, are tombs for gods. I talk about exactly which gods they are in my book. I've done a lot of research. I've tried to rationalize them with the gods of pyramids in various locations: Europe, Asia, the Americas, and I think I'm onto something here. I explain why there are three pyramids. They're not for three pharaohs, but three pharaohs could have worked on them. That's one thing I'm interested in. They may have taken. It was built to one plan, one great Giza central plan. The final pharaoh, Menkaure, as we know him, he probably abandoned Giza. Herodotus writes that he had health problems and he was more interested in bringing back the Egyptian gods rather than his own gods. So, and he's remembered very favorably by the Egyptians for this reason. Anyway, there's a lot in this book. I've mentioned a lot. This is a very interesting topic. Essentially, the conclusion is if pyramids are worldwide, and they are, they're just built differently in different locations for different climates. In Europe, you don't even need bricks, just build a huge mound. If pyramids are worldwide, they cannot be understood from the perspective of Egyptian deities. They have to be looked at from the perspective of an earlier religion. I go into the earlier religion here. Half of this book is a travel book. I'm investigating the earlier religion, the earlier mounds. Then I look at various mounds around North Africa, etc., Asia. I have a lot of pictures in here. And later I get into Egypt and I start to put it all together, put the pieces together, talk about why biblical Joseph might be associated with granaries if he's associated with Joseph. He probably isn't the same person, but in mythology, or at least the name is similar. So mythology gets very mixed up. I really get into this. I get into all the gods. I get into who the gods were, and I make suggestions about as to which pyramid is represented by which goddess and god. And I even talk about the Saqqara complex. The Saqqara complex is actually very similar to the Giza complex. There were three original pyramids, and later they built far more pyramids around them, which really confuses the situation. Anyway, I'm very proud of my work, and I hope some of you will look at my book. It's only $19 on eBay, on Amazon. So I really hope you investigate it, and thanks very much.